Hi, this is Graphically Alex coming at you with all things fat related. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. I also just want to ask you guys to please turn on the notifications so that you can get sent every video. And then I just have a couple more announcements. I did a collab with Nightlight. There will be a link in the description. It came out yesterday. Loved it. It was super fun. And I have relaunched my personal channel. So if you guys are wanting to chat with me more in like a less formal setting, maybe be a little problematic, maybe not. No, I'm just kidding. But just a lot looser. That would be in the description as well. I just wanted to let you guys know because I've been feeling better. And so I want to have a personal channel again, per facts, period. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So this is Rosie. So there's been like a podcast that she was on that was kind of viral-ish, at least in the photosphere. We may need to talk about it more, definitely. Let me know what you guys think. And for now, we're going to go ahead and look at this video where Rosie is basically denouncing fat acceptance, haze, all these different things. So it's always good to talk about when people leave the movement.
Hey, if you've known me for a long time on the internet, I think you know that I've spent many years in the body positivity spaces, and I think at some point I definitely considered myself a fat activist. And obviously, I've come online and shared my stories regarding feederism and the like. And so I've spent a lot of time this week, like a lot of my time, watching a lot of commentary videos and different creators, a lot of whom are like fat people who were once like super fats who've lost weight, or people that were once in fat spaces that have left. And I have been consuming a lot of media and really reflecting on my beliefs. And I want to share some thoughts.
So I just want to say, firstly, that is amazing. I almost started crying. Told you guys, in my recovery, I've been a lot more emotional lately. It's so bad. It's driving me nuts, but it is what it is. Oh gosh. But yeah, that almost makes me want to cry just because it's like such a big step. Such a huge step, Rosie. Like, it's just, oh my God. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This type of stuff, it can be a life defining moment, a life saving moment. And that is just like, it's very powerful. It's like hitting me really hard. I think just because like, when you have been really, really big, it can be really scary. And especially in today's climate to kind of talk about things like, yes, there's so much support, but I always tell you guys, a lot of the support is online. There's a lot less support in person with family members, coworkers and things like that. Like in general, on the outside, there is more of a fat acceptance culture, especially for people who are very big. It can be very controversial. So I just have to say, like, I am so happy for you. I am so happy for you. And just don't worry about if it upsets people. Like, you gotta, when it comes to something like this, you have to be in it for yourself first. I know that sounds weird, but it's just a reality. Like, it becomes about survival at a certain point. So just, I'm just so happy to hear that. Let's continue.
I no longer subscribe to believing in haze. I believe that it's really important to love yourself where you are for who you are. Regardless of your weight, regardless of your body, regardless of what you look like, you deserve to love yourself. You deserve to love yourself to the point of treating yourself well. You deserve to love yourself enough to address your pain. You deserve to love yourself enough to want to be as healthy as one can be in their body. And you know, I'm not talking about genetic issues. I'm not talking about anything else other than just trying to live a healthier, balanced life.
So I just have to say, like, I see such clarity in her. She's very calm. There's a very sober quality to this video, and it's very powerful to see, because when you just see it, I can't even remember. You know, I struggled a lot with losing weight. I've tried and failed many a time. You know, I've been trying to lose for 10 years. As I talk about on this channel, I looked into so many different ways of doing it, and I think I finally found it at the end of, 10 years of a journey. But it's still 10 years ago, having that moment of clarity where you understand that you're worth it, that it's not acceptable, but that it is more loving to do something than to just succumb. It's just a very, very powerful thing. It's just, she is dead on here. You are dead on here, Rosie. Dead on. You're coming to this from a very sober perspective. I'm hearing and feeling a lot of health first thoughts and language and attitudes, and that's so important. Do not make the mistakes that a lot of us do to put looks first. It doesn't help. I'm so happy with this. Thank you for sharing this, honestly. Thank you so much.
It's really hard to look back and reflect on your life and realize where you've gone wrong. It's hard to sometimes to notice when you've repeated patterns. And lately, I have been feeling this very weird dichotomy shift in my life that I can only attribute to having gone through when I left Mormonism and leaving not only feederism spaces online, but fat acceptance spaces. Because fat acceptance is problematic. And realizing that has been really hard for me.
It's very scary, especially, it's scary to leave anything, but when you have a community and when you build your life around something, I myself, I never was a part of fat acceptance per se. I just had certain qualities or thoughts. When I was very young, I just didn't care. I was very blasé about my health. I didn't think about it. I was very much in my BED at that time, and I just didn't care. But it was very much a individual thing for me. But there have been times in my life when I've had to break free of certain things. I feel like I'm always doing that, but it's because I'm a very much think for myself, individualistic person. And I just want to acknowledge it's not always easy to break out of stuff. She compares it to leaving Mormonism, which leaving a religion or anything like that, it's incredibly difficult. And when it comes to something like fat acceptance, it can be a huge foundational belief of your life. You interact with your body every single day. You interact with food every single day. You interact with all these things and everybody else around you. and you're in this whole world, especially if she was in that, you know, FEEDER space, a lot of her, a lot of the approval of other people or a lot of her friends and a lot of this type of stuff is tied to that. And it's like, I want you to know, Rosie, there's a whole other world. Like, you're going to be fine. I promise. It's not always going to be easy, but it is freedom. I don't know how to explain it. Thinking for yourself is freedom. No matter how hard it is, it's freedom. And it's so important. And especially if you're being encouraged to go down very dark paths. So I'm just, yeah, this is incredible.
And I know there are a lot of people that think I'm some attention-seeking liar because of how I left feudalism. And people are entitled to their opinions, but this is very real for me. And this isn't me saying fat people suck or that I hate my body now or any shit like that, because that's not the truth. I think that I am beautiful. I believe fat is beautiful. But I believe that fat acceptance creates like this vacuum hole of self-justifications that, for me, I will speak for myself, created almost delusions of my reality.
Yeah. Yes. I do want to say that I really appreciate that Rosie is understanding she does not necessarily have to whiplash or become the exact opposite of what she believed. That's not what thinking for yourself is. Thinking for yourself is just taking your opinions and moving forward as you truly think and feel. And so I really appreciate that. And I agree. I don't think hating your body is very productive. I've never advocated for that. It's not helpful on a weight loss journey or anything like that, just because you really are living in your body for the rest of your life, and you need to appreciate your body. Your body is only ever trying to help you survive. That's your body's number one priority. And so I appreciate that she isn't necessarily, just because she's leaving fat acceptance, that doesn't mean that she's taking on some toxic diet culture stuff, because that stuff is not helpful. It's not helpful to feel as though you're at war with your body. Now, it may come in, there may be some times where you do feel that way, but you don't ever want to feed into it or think of it as like a good thought to have. It's not productive. So I agree. I think it's important to love yourself as you are. And, it is what it is. Let's continue.
And these are really hard and painful things for me to admit. So before I talk about this anywhere else, I want to talk about this on my stories. Because I'm not talking about body neutrality. I'm not talking about self-love movements. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking specifically about fat activism. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say there are certain creators that I've been watching that I'm going to tag in this slide, because I feel like each of these creators handles these topics with dignity and respect and kindness and compassion. And depending on, where I had been a few years ago, if I watched them, I don't know if I would have been as receptive as I have been as in recent years.
So this is something I want to point out. So she really appreciates Obese to Beast, Hey Look It's Megan, and Sam at Every Size. So I want to just say it's very important to have people in this space from all across the aisle, from all over the place, because you never know who will hear it from you. And this is a much bigger issue than anything. So it's very important that we have as many diverse perspectives fighting fat acceptance as possible. So thank you so much, Obese to Beast. Hey, look, it's Megan and Sam at Every Size. Thank you all so much for doing what you do. We appreciate you so much.
And I know this is going to piss off a lot of people. And I'm probably going, and I have been getting a lot of unfollows for a while now. If you know anything about me, you know I don't give two shits about that. Because I only want the people who get me to stick around anyway. So that's not really even important to me. But what's important to me is realizing just how much youth plays a factor, you know. I think even recently I've talked about how, like, my doctor says my blood work is basically, like, her exact words were, besides obviously my A1C, my blood work was immaculate. And, like, yeah, great, good for me. Thankfully I'm not more unhealthy than I already am.
Thank you so much for saying that. It's so important to understand that, and working to correct the issue at a younger age is always easier and better than waiting till you're older, because things tend to get more difficult the older you get. It's not impossible, no excuses. Anybody in my audience, I don't care how old you are, you can get it under control. But yes, it's harder. Yes, it may take multiple years instead of one, or there may be some other damage that has occurred that can complicate things. And it's very important that we are honest about this. So yes, I really appreciate her saying that.
But that's only for now. And that's why in my day-to-day life, I've made a lot of lifestyle changes. I do not live like I once did, and I never will again.
It's powerful. Very, very, very powerful to say. I will say, for me, I had this moment in 2021. Again, she's making me emotional. You're making me emotional, Rosie. I don't like this. Stop it. I don't want to have feelings right now. But when I kind of discovered the diet that I was going to do, and when I finally had the pieces slip together, and I realized about those damn oils, and in 2021, I was just like, I am never doing that again. I am never going to do this again. And I stopped. And then that was in March. And by November of that year, I had had so much healing and change and transformation within my body and mind that I knew I could never go back. And that was another moment. And she probably has yet to reach that, but it's just very powerful. It's very heavy. And I don't know if people who have not been huge can understand how impactful it is to say goodbye to these lifestyle choices as a very, very obese person. It is life defining. It is huge. It is just like every single thing about your life. Like in 2021, I had to change everything about my life. My whole lifestyle across the board was so just hypothyroid inducing that everything from living alone, the panorama, the toxicity I was in, like in terms of chemicals and stuff that I was working with, you know, the lack of trees I lived, like the nature aspect was not helping me. Like I never went outside, like just so many different things. And then the actual food, it was just like I said no to everything. And I did the complete opposite. I became somebody that was outside very often. I lived with family. I did everything different. I moved to a whole other state. Like it was a lot. It was like a really transformational moment for me, but I'm just that way. You don't have to be like me. For those of you guys who are somewhat into astrology, I'm a Scorpio rising. So if you understand that, it basically means I die and I'm reborn, right? So I'm a very extreme person in that sense, where like when I make a decision, it's permanent and done and it's like transformational. So I don't know if she's having a moment like that, but I can understand it if she is. And just remember, you can always make slower changes. That's okay too. There's no one right way, right? So just keep that in mind. But yeah, it's powerful. Very powerful.
Now, am I in some big pursuit of some weight loss journey right now? The answer to that is no. I am in a lifestyle trajectory movement. My focus is on my habits and my behaviors.
That's perfect. That is amazing. Perfect. I got a lot of hate because for me, I had to change my lifestyle, like what she's doing. And I couldn't lose weight really for a year and a half. It took me a long time to adjust to these changes. And there's no way I could have handled the challenges of a deficit and weight loss, especially from a large size, while I was still changing my health habits around and improving my health overall. It's definitely a two-step process, especially from a very big size. Work on your health first, get healthy enough to lose the weight. So she's exactly right in this. Beautiful.
And weight loss is gonna come with it, and I know that. And I'm not only am I like okay with that, I am like getting myself ready to work towards intentional weight loss. And I'm struggling to even talk about that right now because of my experiences in fat activism.
Yeah, it's akin to sacrilege. It's like heretical in terms of fat acceptance to say that. And all I want to say is you're fine. You are fine. You are absolutely fine. Do not worry. You got the right mindset. I'm so happy to see this. You don't even know. I am so glad you're saying this. I am so glad you're doing this.
Has been so demonized by me and my peers and the people around me for so long that I struggle to talk about my desire to pursue weight loss in any capacity because I feel like a hypocrite.
It's okay. People change. It's okay. It's okay. Whew. Getting chills.
What? What is that? That's ridiculous.
It's okay to feel that way, but yes, I know what you're saying. I get it.
I understand wanting to experience like places on the internet or life on the internet without constantly being like berated for your weight or like hearing about people's intentional weight loss journeys, whatever. Like I sympathize with that. But those echo chambers, I feel, serve more harm than good. It's a short-term relief of your mental health pains with long-term consequences.
Yes, and it's very, I always say, you're fine until you aren't. And I think a lot of bigger people, when I say that, they know exactly what I mean, because you feel completely okay. Or maybe there's these foreshocks of health issues or these little things that start to, spark up when you're younger, but it goes away and then there's relief. But then all of a sudden, at a certain point, you hit a wall and it escalates. And then you hit another wall and it escalates even further. And then it's like, oh my God. And it gets really scary really fast. So, yes, you're fine until you aren't. So it is definitely long-term harm, because the further you go, the more work and time it will take to get out. That doesn't mean not to do it. It doesn't mean not to try. It doesn't mean this. It doesn't mean that. But understand, nobody got to huge amounts of weight, like, 3, 4, 500 pounds, 600 pounds in a year. It's not going to take that long to get it off, usually. It's a process. It's a lifestyle change. Your body has to change. The way your metabolism and everything has to shift. It's truly, it's a magnificent and even miraculous transformation. And the human body is incredible of what it can recover from. But yes, it's work and time. Absolutely.
I'm in a real long haul healing journey.
Oh my God, you're so on point. You are so on point. Ooh, I love it.
My actions and my words from here on out are here to reflect that. If people want to judge me from who I was back in April, from who I was last year, from who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that is not my problem. I'm here to heal.
Dead on.
I'm not going to let anyone try to dictate my narrative other than myself.
I always say one of the things that you need most in terms of getting your health on track as a very fat person is boundaries. You have to have boundaries with yourself and boundaries with other people. It's a huge thing. And to see her, she's having boundaries with other people. Amazing.
This isn't some ploy or attention or anything other than accountability. This is really hard for me. And it's an ever-growing, ever-changing process. So I'm just going to go ahead and conclude this old-style Instagram rant. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Hi, guys. The ones that are still watching, you're the real ones. Or you just nosy, which, hey, more power to you. I say all of that to say, this isn't some bullshit ploy for attention. This isn't some announcement that I'm about to turn into some weight loss account, anything like that. No.
The thing is that actual significant weight loss from that level, it cannot be a ploy.
I have to deconstruct beliefs that I built throughout my entire adulthood, and it's a weird place to be. I was really some, 23-year-old out here spouting bullshit online, thinking.
It's okay. A lot of us are. I was too. But you don't know anything that I said because it's gone. No, but I was in hella drama. Hella personal drama at 23. We don't need to get into that. Maybe on my personal channel, which remember, in the link in description, but we don't need to get into that here. But I'm just saying, nobody should be judging you when you're like grown. Anybody who's grown is not going to judge you for stuff at 23, unless if they're just really nasty and mean. But I'm not. So even though I am mean, but I guess I'm just not really nasty.
knew everything, thinking that I could, I guess, outsmart things that have been around for forever. And there are certain fundamentals that I really have to refocus and gain control within myself on. And I think anyone that really knows me knows, like, I don't blame anybody else for my weight. And I don't see my weight as this huge, horrible thing. I do see it now for what it is, as an obstacle to overcome, not for how I look.
Yeah, it's really not that important. And you can't really use looks as a motivation from such a huge size, just because even if it was, you won't necessarily look like how you want to look for a very long time, right? So I don't judge anybody if that's their main motivation. I'm not going to lie, it's definitely a benefit for me, but looks didn't get me to change my lifestyle. Looks didn't get me to do all the steps that I needed sustainably over years, and then pursuing intentional weight loss over a long haul. Looks didn't get me to that. It was a health scare that went on for 2 years. That was very dangerous and deadly, and just, it's the kind of thing, as I said, where it's like you're drowning. It's like you're drowning and you have to wait for the water to slowly drain so that you can breathe again. That's what it feels like.
For my goals, for my mobility, for what I want from my life, I've got a long way to go.
Sometimes it's better to not be as stubborn as me. I have to learn the hard way a lot of times.
And I have no desire to enter any kind of rapid weight loss, for the reason that, I kind of want to see what I can do in terms of salvaging my skin. But,
That's fair enough. All I will say as advice, take care of your thyroid. It will give you the best chance you have. Keep thyroid health in mind. Keep hormone health in mind. It will give you the best chance you have.
I'm not making any kind of like grand promises. Really, the point of this ramble was just to say that I really overcorrected throughout my 20s. And I really doubled down, tripled down, to the point that I landed in even more radical spaces online.
But you don't understand how wise that is to be realizing it.
And because of those choices that I made, because I decided to fall down those rabbit holes, I developed diabetes by the age of 30.
So she's around my age. Okay. It's going to be tough. I was hoping you were younger, but I guess you're not. So it will be tough. I feel you even more now. Feel you even more. All I can tell you is you can get out. You can absolutely get out.
And I had been doing a really good job of reversing it. I was in 2021. I had reversed my pre-diabetes status. And then I made choices that landed me to where I'm at now. So don't be like me.
Thank you so much, Rosie. That is just like powerful all around. I am so, I'm happy that you made this statement. I know that you don't want to become a weight loss channel, you don't want to do any of that. And again, you do not have to. Making the statement though, I'm so grateful that you did. It's so helpful. And don't let the younger ones mess up like we did. You know, that's what I try to do. So it's all we can do is try to break a cycle, try to do better, and change. And I'm so grateful to you for doing this, and I will definitely be following your journey. Let me know what you guys think below. Please like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed it. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever. Peace.